What is up, guys? This is Andrew Smersek with Combat Art Training. I am joined today with Aaron Little of Performance Edge. He has just taught a class recently at Noah's Place in
Brookville, PA.
in PA, and he'll be back there. I have that in the description. But more importantly, he is coming to Florida, and we recently did a date change, so we wanted to update everyone with that. And there are a few slots left where if you sign up right now, you will get a nice discount. So I want you guys to take full advantage of that. And I'm going to start sending this off to my special list of students right now so that they can take advantage of that first.
Yeah. There are currently, Andrew, if you don't mind, there are currently 5 of those slots still available.
Cool.
I think it saves them $50 on their sign up. Those won't be there long. So
sweet. And then I'm going to be doing a bit of an interview. I'm just sharing this link out to a few people, and then we'll get into it as people are trickling in. Aaron, I just sent you the link too if you want to start sharing it. I'm going to send it to the couple of the alumni pages. But like getting to know Aaron, we first talked like 3 years ago, maybe. And it was pretty cool. Like it's cool talking to Aaron because I got to know a lot of history, especially like behind tactical response that I didn't know originally. And I also, like with all the classes I go to, sometimes when I drop your name, there's some fresh blood who's never heard it before too. So and if they know me, now they can get to know you. Also, like I don't know if I've seen a proper interview of you before. So like I want that available for people. I did one with Joey that I was pretty happy with because like same thing. I was like, man, not a lot of people have really gotten to know Joey. So we're going to be doing that. And I'm just finishing this up. Aaron, why don't you begin? What was like your first, was it gun experience or was it something else that got you into this? What was like the starting point?
So I will dive right into that. Before we do, as you've learned, before we got started talking, I trying to familiarize myself with this app and all, and I'm just fascinated. I just got to say that you sent me that link to share, and I just went and looked, and because you did the work before we got started to add my Facebook page and my YouTube channel, those are streaming there live now. So
good.
I don't have to worry about it.
Interview. I'm just sharing this link. Sorry.
I don't like that.
Sorry about that.
So I'm trying to think if I need to share that anywhere else, but I think it's fine where it is.
Yeah, I think we're good.
I guess I can go put it in the Tactical Response alumni group.
I already did.
Oh, well, I don't need to do anything. So, yeah, I've done several interviews. I think it's been a while. I've kind of been a ghost the last 5 or 6 years. I've kind of been fully involved in other work, and I'm just starting back on the road again. So I think any interview you might have seen would have been before we knew each other. But so it started a long time ago. I started off as a martial arts kid. When I was really young, my dad started in a martial arts class, and I begged to do that. And my parents told me I was too young. And then several years later, Dad did not stick around. He was a coal miner, worked a lot of hours, just didn't have the time. But years later, one of the guys that had started when he started had taken over the school. And his first night teaching was my first night training. So I was 13. I was 13. And not long after that, just because of, turnover rate, I was the senior student in the class. So it was just such a blessing to be in that spot at that time. Before I was 14, I was an assistant martial arts instructor, which was crazy to think about.
What discipline was it? Like
it was a kung fu style, just Chinese kung. It was the only thing taught. I grew up in Eastern Kentucky. It was the only thing that was taught. Like going through school, I had teachers that were my students. which was just a strange thing. And then, I graduated high school, joined the Army, got out of the Army, went to school at Eastern Kentucky University.
See, I didn't even know you were in the Army.
Started teaching the same thing. Started teaching that same art.
Hold up. What did you do?
I was a combat engineer.
Oh, really? How long?
4 years. My dad was an engineer. My grandfather was an engineer. I was an engineer. But anyways, I started teaching martial arts in college when I got back, taught a class through the university. That led to a lot of traveling and taking workshops. And I was my mindset was I'm going to travel and learn things to make what I currently do better.
Mm-hmm.
And somewhere in there, I discovered I was enjoying the other things more. Through lots of jumping around and training with different people, I ended up with a guy named Paul Vunak doing Jeet Kune Do, traveling around the country. That introduced me to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and an approach to combatives kind of akin to what we do now, edge weapons work, that kind of thing. Somewhere in there, man, 30 years ago or so, I got an email from some dude I'd never heard of before saying that he had heard about me online and wanted to meet me. And he thought the best way to do that was to offer me a free class. It was a pistol class. And I said, don't offer me a free class unless you want me to come. When's the next one? And like 2 weeks later, I was driving to Tennessee to train with some Yahoo named James Yeager. And that class went well. And he invited me to come down and take a rifle class like a month later. I went down and took the rifle class. He hired me that weekend to be the combatives, edge weapons, impact weapons guy for what is now Tactical Response. It wasn't called Tactical Response back then.
What was it then?
At that time, it was Ops Southeast. So he was kind of an affiliate under Andy Stanford.
Okay, cool. How long did he do that?
A few years. I was right there in the middle of that sweet spot.
Okay.
And then we rebranded as Tactical Response a few years later. Yeah. And then, if we're an instructor there, not only could you take every class they offered, but there were some other people in the family, you could take their classes. So I just took every class I could take over and over and over and over and over again and I'd assisted. I'd been like the second guy in some firearms classes. And then there was a class in North Carolina, two-day pistol, 2-day rifle. And they had nobody to go teach it. So I went and taught those classes, and that started that run. And then for several years, me and him were bouncing around North America teaching classes 2 or 3 weekends a month.
Is that like during the time period where it was a lot more traveling than Tennessee classes?
A lot more traveling.
What was like your schedule looking like for that?
I mean, I was somewhere else in the country 2 to 3 weekends a month. If we were in Canada, it was typically a couple of weeks and traveling between locations.
What was it like training Canadians versus Americans?
I almost feel like, man, that's a putting me on the spot kind of question. I almost feel like the Canadian students, and I'm not saying American students do anything wrong.
Right.
But I think Canadian students as a whole recognize, like, to us, we see it as our right.
Yeah.
To them, they see it and respect it as a privilege, that they know they're getting to do something that's tough for them to do. And I always respected that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's kind of like one thing. Now, my opinions have changed now, but like one thing I noticed about some of the Canadian conservatives, I was like, well, these guys actually care a lot more than American conservatives.
Oh, they do. And the number of students, I've had hundreds of Canadian students, the number of them that are members of the NRA, that doesn't really help them any, but it's an organization they can support that supports somebody's right to carry. And how do you not respect that?
Right.
Anytime people want to make fun of Canadians, I'm like, not the Canadians I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's cool. All right. So you're traveling along with Yeager.
Yep.
Teaching all over the country and into Canada. Did you guys go to any other countries?
I did not.
Okay. And then what point did you start Performance Edge?
Performance Edge existed before Tactical Response.
Okay.
I was already teaching full-time with Performance Edge before Tactical Response.
Okay. And what kind of classes were you doing in the beginning when you first started?
With tactical response or with performance edge,
Performance edge.
we were martial arts, like not traditional as in belts and gis, but like just a formal martial arts school. So there were seminars for those things, and then edge weapons and impact weapons.
Right on.
So hand-to-hand self-defense, combatives, edge weapons, impact weapons. And then it was after tactical response that I started adding firearms classes to the performance edge menu.
So going from like you said like a kung fu style in the beginning, and then joining the army, and then you start after you got out is basically when you started taking lots of other classes, right?
Yep.
What was there like a certain point where you're like, because I don't know what kung fu martial arts classes are like,
yeah,
but like at what point are you starting to like kind of get more aligned with the thinking that you have now, with the style of training you have now, or like were you like at a certain point like, hey, it's very important we introduce blades into this because that's a common thing. Was there any like turning point, or
I think the addition of weapons into training was kind of present from the beginning. That's a positive thing we can say about kung fu styles is weapons is very prevalent in Chinese style martial arts. To be honest, probably the single greatest, if I could define one specific thing, it would be UFC 1. The first UFC. I remember getting people together to watch the first UFC. And that's what really changed things for me, because it immediately changed the way I view training. And what we will talk about at length when I'm at your place in Florida in April is the role that pressure and progressive resistance and pressure plays in our growth. I can learn a skill. If the sun is at my back, there's a gentle breeze, there's no pressure, no resistance, I can make anything work. Give me a willing training partner to throw around, I can make anything look good. But the moment we start progressively increasing the amount of pressure on me to still perform well, that's when things start to fall apart. If I don't have that, if in training I don't get to that place where I'm seeing the amount of pressure that's on me cause my skill set to degrade, then I'm not training effectively. And that is a truth in an MMA gym that never has to be talked about, because that's just the training methodology. So what I try to do is take that training methodology and apply it to a more combative style environment.
And it's kind of like, all right, correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I'm hearing it, it's kind of like something that more, when it comes to gun training, more lip service is given to it than anything. It's where they're like, make sure you practice that stuff that's hard, or
let me give you an example. Let me give you an example, and I think might answer your question. Imagine a class. There is great benefit in an NRA basic pistol class.
Sure.
If you have never shot before, if you're intimidated, afraid, had a bad experience, whatever with firearms, there's nothing wrong with that class. It serves a purpose. The problem is when we assume that purpose covers everything. So if I've never shot before and I'm afraid or whatever, a class that introduces me to fundamentals marksmanship, how to align my sights, how to press my trigger, how to clear a malfunction, all those things, but in a pressure-free environment, that's still good. I need to know those. I need to get those skills down before I start adding pressure.
Yeah.
But drawing my gun from my holster, aligning my sights, making one shot on a target successfully, and then gently reinserting my gun in my holster is one thing. Doing that while someone's trying to murder me is a completely different thing. The physical skill set might be the same, but how I make that happen under stress and pressure is completely different than how I make that happen when I'm not concerned about the pressure. So I try to structure drills in training to make that pressure not from 0 to 100 instantly, but how do we do that like progressive resistance training? And I add a couple of pounds of pressure each rep.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I see what you're saying. And that's something that my students experience in the Proving Grounds pistol, where although I do kind of a couple drills, it's not necessarily 100, but we take it up pretty fast. Although they're very controlled drills, they're very short drills, but they go like, damn, I didn't think I was capable of missing that shot. But it's
Right.
like, yeah, but you've never done it under pressure. You've never done it with them shooting back at you. And
Something
it's
that I
just
think
simple drills, you know?
something I think that's very eye opening for students in class is I want each time we switch partners to have a very brief, a couple second conversation on what level you both want to go at. And obviously, you need to go at the lowest level between the two people. But I try to encourage students consistently throughout 2 days of training or 5 days of training or whatever class we're teaching that constantly communicate, go harder, more of that, or don't go so hard.
Mhm.
We have to get out of our ego. If I cannot look at another man in training and say, "Hey, can you back off that just a little bit?" Because
Mhm.
I need to be able to practice getting the technique right under pressure.
Yeah.
And if he can back off and I get the technique right, then he can start slowly applying pressure again. And the next thing you know, I'm far better than I ever imagined I would be.
Yeah.
And
And
that's my goal.
and having an important or a good training partner is so important to that. 'Cause I haven't done a lot of hand-to-hand stuff, but I've done enough to be like, yeah, when you got someone that's not locked on or they're too much or too little, it's like training value is completely lost.
Absolutely.
I've even had a student that went to uh you know a class that a lot of people really like, but they were paired with a shitty partner and didn't get as much attention, you know.
Gotcha. Yep.
And
I,
they're like, I'm never coming back. And
so
they're
for
like,
multiple reasons,
yeah,
you change partners a lot in my classes for multiple reasons. I want the experience of working with every possible body type, shape, strength, skill level.
yep,
That also means if that guy is in class and he's just not a good training partner, nobody gets stuck working with that guy the whole class. And I never have to
right,
say anything about it. We just change partners regularly and everything will be fine. I think there's value when two guys on the mat at one time, there can be these two guys that are trying to murder each other. And these two guys that are going really slow to make sure they get everything right. I like that. I want it to
yeah,
be that way. But then when I say switch and those two groups repair together, then these two guys that were trying to murder each other now have to process and step it down to work with these two guys that were going slower. And probably the guys that were going slower now have to step it up a little bit to
mhm,
match that. But the most eye-opening thing I think for a lot of people comes from stepping back down after going all out and then slowing it back down to work with somebody else. They see and experience and feel things they were never getting with the other partner.
right,
So it's almost like I want students. I have this belief nobody comes to a 2 day class and leaves having that.
right,
They come to a 2 day class, they learn skill sets that they now need to take home and work on their own with their own buddies. And I want one of the side benefits of the way I structure the class is I want people to leave a better training partner than they were when they got there.
I like that.
So we're also teaching people to be better training partners.
Yeah,
Because again, I want that environment where after a class, after I'm done and I go back home once a month or so, they get together and work those drills we did in class. So when I come back the next time, they're ready for more.
mhm. Very cool. I like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's something like I've gotten to see a bit more come out with running the proving grounds class too. Is yeah, just like you said, we haven't switched partners all the time, but it's not as complicated as like the way someone's moving against you, right?
Right.
It's simpler because it's gun stuff and we're not going hands on with each other in that class. But there is like the factor of like being able to read someone's telegraph of what they're about to do,
Yes.
like just the way they change positions on cover or when they're going to break and move on you, and reading that and seeing how different it is with person to person. So that's, yeah, that's cool. And it makes me think about the knife classes I was taking too. Cause yeah,
So so I know you know this, it's
yeah,
obviously not really within the scope of this, but if you train with me, you can't help but hear that in addition to the combatives and firearms and stuff, I'm also a circus acrobat. I
yeah,
train acrobats, I perform as an acrobat, partner acrobatics. And in that world, you'll hear the expression being calibrated with your partner. You need to calibrate. Like we start each class calibrating as part of our warm up with a partner. How are we moving? How am I pushing with this foot? How are you leaning? Just building that connection. It's like a physical rapport being calibrated with your partner. I think that is equally as relevant with regular training partner and combatives as well.
Yeah.
You need to understand how to be calibrated, because when you work with someone who you were talking about reading energy and reading body language and how people are moving, the more you understand about that with your regular training partner, the better you can both get.
Mm-hmm.
Because when they can recognize and they know how you move, they can use that to your advantage. They can use that to screw you up. And you want that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I believe the best training partners are those who can control the level of progressive resistance and push us to the point that what we think we can do fails.
Yeah.
That's a good training partner.
Because like 4 sentences ago, you made me start thinking about when I was going through green belt and Marine Corps martial arts program.
Okay.
And I was thinking about this one guy who was he had done more wrestling, right? And more wrestling than me or anyone else there. And he would always get me in this one, I don't even know what it's called. It's like he's in the guard, wraps his legs around my waist, and then gets me in a headlock, and he just leans back. And it was like I couldn't help but get myself back into that position,
right,
with things I thought was going to work. And then you said that. That's crazy.
If I know that, like if I know your struggle point and I know that I'm good enough to put you into that struggle position every time, then I'm going to taunt you with it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to beat you up with it, because then nobody gets better. But I can tempt you with it. I can taunt you with it. I can go to the edge of it and make you work harder to train you how to either keep from getting there or get out of it when you do get there. We need that. We need training partners that care enough to make us fail.
Yeah.
In a supportive way. Like not training partners that beat us up every time. But if you're partnered with someone that is way below your skill level, if they're at a 5, I want you going at 5.5.
Yeah.
I want them pushed. I think it's our role as coaches. It's your role as a coach when you teach classes, and it's our role as a good training partner to see the potential in our partners, our students, that they don't see in themselves.
Yeah.
This is true whether I'm working with somebody in the gym, somebody on the mat for acrobatics, somebody on the mat for combatives. It doesn't matter. If I'm coaching somebody, it is my job to see their potential and push them, pull them, drag them, shove them past that line. See, I have a view of like a teaching methodology that most people disagree with. I am actually not only fine, I'm kind of happy if you end a class on a failure.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people will tell you, oh, you should always have your students end on a success. No. If you end on a success in my class, that means you were not pushed hard enough to find your failure.
Yeah.
I want you to wrap up my class knowing here's the perfect feeling that I want students to have. Man, I sucked on that last drill, but I know why I sucked, and I know what I need to do to not suck as much the next time. That's the biggest win you can possibly get from a class.
Yeah. And that makes me think about taking the fight. Like when I took the fight, I fucked up so many scenarios, and it was so good for me to do that.
Absolutely.
It made me take things so much. And that was like one of the biggest things that drove me, was to not see that happen again. And then when I went back and I did advanced immediate action medical, which is basically like the fight, but more medical focused. And there's other stuff that doesn't involve force on force. And then I did fight continues. Like I was super, super satisfied with my performance in those, but it's because of the hard lessons I got. Absolutely. Because of the failures I had. And like there were some failures that were straight up haunting to me. And of course, this all depends on the student too, because not every student will get a failure and take it seriously. You know, like I've had an old lady come to class and leave being like, I'm glad I did this because I found out it's not for me. And, you know, she's like, very frail and weak. And I was like, well, you could work on your strength,
Mhm.
because you need to, because you're a very easy target. And
Sure.
your best chance really is being able to use a gun because you ain't got much else. So you should at least get that, but it's not everyone can experience the failure and actually use that properly. But yeah, I don't mind
So,
anything on failure
so
either.
here's so let's talk about this. Let's
Yeah.
talk about if this is okay. I don't know your for.
Yeah,
I
go
know you
ahead,
said you
man.
want to do an interview format, but if I'm running a class that is like a combatives class, this I will run firearms classes this way as well. I like training pairs. So instead of relays on a firing line, I like training pairs where there are two people working together
Mhm.
and you're shooting and I'm watching. I'm checking your grip. I'm a student, but I'm checking your grip. I'm watching your target. I'm watching your movement. I'm watching your reloads. I'm watching how you clear malfunctions. I'm paying attention. I'm
Mhm.
making corrections that need to be corrected. I'm helping you stuff your magazines, whatever. We are a training pair.
Mhm.
And then when that drill's over, I like an environment where we can then debrief around, even if it's just 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Hey, every time you did this, you were doing this. Watch out for that the next time. We need that. But that puts a value on our failure,
Mhm.
right? If I know when this drill's done that you are going to call me to task for my mistakes in a context that tells me how to make those mistakes less moving forwards, my failures are now part of my growth. It's not, well, I missed that one. I got to get better the next time. It's no, I missed that one. Here's why I missed it. Here's how I can use that knowledge to make the next time better. Well, I can't do that by myself. We're not good enough to do that self assessment. But if I have a training partner that cares enough about my growth to make me fail and help me analyze my failures in a way that makes me better the next time, we all win. I stop seeing failures as a loss. I see failures as a tool to be better,
Mhm.
and we all get better.
Yeah.
I do that in combatives classes. I even run circus classes that way. I mean, it's a partner exercise, but it's not just I'm doing my part, you're doing your part. I want to watch your part. I want to know when you're screwing up and if there's something I can see to make that better. That also makes, if I'm the partner watching, if I'm having to study your movement, I'm studying the technique. I'm studying the movement. I'm learning failures that you might be making that I didn't realize I was making too.
Mhm.
And now when I say, hey, you're doing this, wait, am I doing that? How do I make sure I don't do that? It just makes
Yeah.
us all better.
Yeah, it makes them more engaged. and
Yes.
and yeah, like the thing I tell my students with failures are just data points on how to get better, improve these things.
Yeah, it's like the neuro linguistic programming presupposition. There's no such thing as failure, only feedback.
Hmm. I like
And
that.
and that is true if you choose for it to be true.
Right.
Right? If you choose to ignore the feedback, then a failure is a failure.
Hmm.
But if you look for the lesson, it's a win.
Yeah. Yeah, and that even just applies to like everyday life.
Everything. Like
When you lose your cool, that we've all been through that. And how do we not let that happen again? You know.
yeah, I love when I tell people to switch partners and I watch that student go to this guy that I know is going to frustrate them. Yes, there's going to be a problem. There's going to be weird failures and they're going to grow from it.
Yeah. So
Yep.
okay. So now, all right, we kind of got
I did
off of.
not expect for us to dive into teaching methodology, but I like it a lot.
No, I like it. Like, yeah. Well, you haven't watched my live streams, but
I've not.
I love nerding out. Like these are the conversations we have on the phone and shit.
We've had a lot of these on the phone. That is true.
And this is like my favorite thing to talk about. It's kind of like one of those things where like, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? I'm like, because my brain doesn't work like that. This is what I think about all the time, and so that's naturally just what the live streams turn into too. So now, okay, so Performance Edge was going on the whole time, working with tactical response, and then eventually, I think this is where kind of the break in doing a lot of teaching came in. security work, right?
Yeah.
And
That's
how
what we
does
can talk.
one get into that?
That's what we could talk about on a
Yeah.
live stream. Yeah. Um, yeah, if anybody remembers 2020, I know that was a long time ago, but kind of before 2020, I was teaching a lot of classes, and then 2020 happened, and George Floyd happened. Breonna Taylor happened, which is in my state, big city at one big city over, and the world just shut down, collapsed on one side, and then on the other side of the coin, there were riots and protests. And I thankfully uh, found myself in a position to get to do some work protecting journalists covering protests and riots. And I was kind of at a place in life where I needed a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
So I just worked every day.
Yeah.
And for most of 2020, I did 10, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Wow.
My father passed away towards the end of the year in 2020. I took 5 days off when he died. And other than that, I worked every day. But the beauty of that was I've worked with, for, beside every major media outlet on the planet. And I don't watch the news anymore because I've seen how the sausage is made. But it put me in a position to test a lot of things, to test a lot of physical skills, to test a lot of mindset skills, a lot of processes and procedures. And yeah, it was good. It was good for me. I still do contracts when the right contract comes across my desk. But I'm kind of at a place where I've got like 6 hard full years of that. And I would like to go back to teaching again because I've learned a lot of valuable lessons and I love to teach. And I would like to help relate those lessons to good students.
So I think like towards the end of it is when I got to do the mini class with you at the end of alumni weekend. It was the last alumni weekend when James was still around.
Oh, right. Yep.
And that, oh, man, I'm trying to remember, what was that one called?
I did a block on, it was either a block on surviving civil unrest, like you walk out of a store and, oh my gosh, there's 1,000 people in the street. What do I do? Or it was about controlling, protecting a third party. Might have been a combination.
It was a third party one. I was trying to remember the name. I'm looking to go in my list.
It was probably just protecting an innocent third party.
Yeah.
I've taught that block a few times.
Yeah. And that was cool. And it was also fun to bounce questions off. Yeah. And it was actually, that was funny too, because I was right following when I had done Fight Continues and Advancing Me Action Medical. And I had done a thing in a scenario where I asked you and you're like, yeah, that would work. And I was like, all right, good. Because I'm like, all right, it worked in force on force, but.
Well, and what was good for me is a lot of the skill sets and blocks like that, a lot of the things that we'll cover in the Fight to Live full contact gunfighting class, either has, because that curriculum existed before 2020, but there's been a lot of changes to it. I didn't take anything out that just, there was nothing that I felt like didn't work, but what I emphasize has changed. How we drill things has changed. Just getting to see how things really function more in that environment. And if you think about it, so many of our students, most of our students, work a 9 to 5. They have a wife and kids or a husband and kids, or, they're not full-time soldiers. They're not SWAT officers somewhere. And I feel like lessons from civil unrest directly apply to those people even more.
Oh yeah.
And I think, to be honest, if I was pushed to say what's the one singular most impactful lesson from that work that impacts the way you teach, it would be that we all, if you carry a gun every day, which I hope is most people who will watch this, if you carry a gun every day, then you should do an evaluation daily of what your fight is, What is my fight? What is the fight that I am willing to get into? And I can tell that story really quick. I was actually here in Kentucky at the state capitol. It had been announced it was going to be a rally, and rallies can easily evolve into protests, and protests easily evolve into riots, and there's marches in there. But the more you're in that environment, the better you are at reading this is about to change. And it was a rally, and it got rambunctious, and I knew that it was about to evolve into a mess I didn't want my clients in. So I said, we have to go. But we were a news crew, so we were at the front, and it was swimming through this sea of people, which I taught how to navigate that in the class you were in. And I hear somebody off in the distance scream, "Medic!" And my body jerked like towards them, like maybe I'm who they need. Because we're good guys. We train good guys. We want to help people. And my client at the time was a national news network on air talent. And she reached out and she had no idea what was going on. Didn't know what that would meant. Did a great job reading my body language. She put a hand on my shoulder and said, "Do we need to go to them?" And I looked at her and said, "No, we need to get out of here." And that moment changed my approach to a lot of training. Is maybe for you, the right thing would be to go to those people screaming for medic, but that's something nobody else can answer for us. And we need to be asking ourselves regularly. Just like I may ask myself that in the morning when I put my gun on, but then if I go to some restaurant with friends tomorrow night, I might reevaluate while I'm sitting there in that restaurant. Hey, if things go sideways, what's my fight? What's my mission?
Yep.
To engage that is to get my people out. We should constantly be asking ourselves that.
Yeah.
I tell reporters who have a job to do, and that's the tough thing for other people to understand. We always talk about cops are running towards the sounds of gunfire. So are reporters. They have a job to do to be there. So I tell them, you're in charge until I take over, and then you have to do everything I tell you. And they've always understood that. So when they're on camera doing their job, I am obviously watching the situation, and I've got a meter in my head of what needs to happen for me to pull them and us go. So it's a big deal to pull a reporter off of a live broadcast, but that idea of that you're constantly watching what could change that would cause me to have to leave with them. I think that's an important lesson for our daily lives.
Yeah. The way I teach that is, it's your priorities.
Yeah.
And, this is the short and basic of it, but priorities, who are you willing to kill, die, go to prison, go to the hospital, be on the news, or et cetera for, and, also kind of in what order, in what scenario. And then, also line in the sand, like you said, you're watching, you're gauging it. What has to change? What the line in the sand? Once this thing happens, all right, we're leaving.
Yep.
And that directly applies to everyone. And another thing that I was thinking about too, back to the class I did with you, was moving through a crowd. Anyone who's ever been to a concert, and I've drug a dude out from the pit who was like unconscious for some reason. And like that's hectic. Or even, moving your future wife out of the show when things got too violent. I've been there, and
in this class that we're going to do in April in Florida, we will absolutely do a block on moving people that don't want to be moved.
And let's get that up on the screen now. So it is going to be April 18th and 19th, Fight to Live / full contact gunfighting in Bellevue, Florida. And so if you know me, hit me up for a place to stay for this class. But yeah, we're going to be hosting it, and then
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, me too. And it's what I need. It's like, you're
going to love it. Yeah, we've had enough conversations. You're going to love it.
Yeah. I haven't gotten to do ECQC yet.
That's a great class as well.
Yeah. But I did get to do Zach Bush's Entangled Gunfighting, and lots of great lessons there.
Absolutely. No doubt.
And
Zach's a great guy.
yeah, like one of the things I was like, damn, thank God this this old guy's not allowed to hit me right now because he
Right.
got a great position on me. And
Well,
it happened so fast. And for especially gun dudes, it is one of the most undervalued skills is the hand-to-hand stuff. Like everything that needs to happen between waving and smiling at someone and shooting them in the brain. All those skills in between there are some of the most neglected skills.
and probably I don't know. I started to say probably the most neglected, and then my brain started flooding with, oh no, what about this neglected thing? But so much firearms training is done standing on a line.
Yep.
Even a class that does a lot of downrange drills. It pretty much always starts standing on a line.
Yeah.
Drawing your gun. With nobody punching you in the face.
Right.
You might not get punched in the face in my class. You might. It depends on who's there and how the class flows. But that pressure. I think people don't process how hard it is to get your gun out under pressure.
Oh yeah. And those types of classes, that's always like one of the biggest things. Like, you know, is the, oh man, I thought I had these skills.
Yes.
But then the second that it matters, it falls apart.
Well, some of the things that we'll drill in this class, it's a 2-day class. I can't tell you all of them, but some of the things is recognizing the difference between a fist fight, like just a hand-to-hand fight, and a lethal force situation. Recognizing that sometimes what started off as just a scuffle can evolve into a lethal force situation. How do I recognize that? How do I access tools, a gun, a knife, or whatever, in the middle of a physical altercation that's already started? And how do I stop them from accessing their tools? And then how do I stop them from accessing my tools?
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't do that, we're carrying tools that we may not even be able to use if we need to.
So can you give some examples of those? Like maybe carrying too much or things that they
well, I can tell you that if I was better at pimping gear, I would just have a big box of appendix holsters for common carried things, and I would sell most of them at a class. Mm-hmm. Because anybody that shows up to a class carrying behind their hip leaves class wanting to know what appendix holster they should buy.
It is
because what they and it's not about the efficiency of drawing their gun.
Mm-hmm.
It is about how easy it is to take somebody's gun away from them when they carry behind the hip.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the biggest example.
Yeah, and it's funny.
And you mentioned carrying too much.
Yeah.
If you carry 4 guns, and I love him dearly, I haven't seen him in a while, but if you carry 4, he did like this earlier. If you carry 4 guns, man, it's really hard to protect all 4 of them.
Yeah. Does he sound like this, Mr. Aaron?
I'm not saying a word. Love that guy though. He is an awesome human being who I want to see sometime if he's watching. But yeah. If I'm carrying 4 guns, there's an advantage to that. But I have to be, and he is probably very aware of that disadvantage.
Oh yeah.
Because he trains a lot. Mm-hmm. But most people don't. Most people want to carry a second gun. Oh, I'll carry an ankle gun. Well, now you got to protect a gun on your waist and a gun on your ankle.
Mm-hmm.
Or I've got one behind the hip and one at appendix. Well, I'm going to take one of those.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you not to. I'm telling you, if you do, you need to spend a lot of time training where someone's trying to take it away from you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm thinking about a couple of my buddies who have had long conversations about this with, who are super into like BJJ and all the hand-to-hand stuff. And that's like one of their biggest pet peeves is like, yeah, that's going to get taken from you. Like you're carrying too much. Like it's not smart.
Yep.
In fact, I'm sending the link to one of them right now. He gets he gets pissed at the idea of even having more than one knife, flashlight, anything. He's like, no. He gets mad at.
I listen, I can make an argument for why you should carry 2 knives.
Yeah.
You should carry a people knife and a stuff knife.
Mm-hmm.
But you should also train in such a way that you can keep somebody from accessing that and killing you with it.
Uh-huh. And so, all right, and so you just taught up at Noah's place. How'd you like the facility?
Oh, I mean, it's fantastic. Noah and Jess are both fantastic people. And I've actually, and I told them this while I was there, I want to try, I'm not telling anybody else to do this. I want to break the habit of referring to Noah hosted me. Noah and Jess hosted me.
Yep.
Because she was an equal participant in everything. She busted her butt in every drill. I was there on a Saturday, Sunday. That Sunday was her birthday. She killed it on her. She could have easily said, "Hey, it's my birthday. I'm not training today."
Right.
No, she was a competent, quality training partner for everybody in the class. So Noah and Jess hosted me in PA. They are great. They are gracious. They train hard. They want to see other people training hard. They have a great facility. Great mats, great place to train inside, phenomenal ranges, bunkhouse. It's a great place.
Yeah, I love seeing guys like Noah and Jess or Robin Bobo at Tap
Yes.
Rack Ridge,
Yep.
like great students being like, let's start hosting these at our place.
Yeah.
And
I think for
opening it
Noah and
up.
Jess, it's just they like to train so much. I think it's true for the Tap Rack people as well, but it was just a logical extension. They don't, they work so hard. They don't have the time to travel to train as much as they would like. So they just bring people to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So awesome.
I'll be back at Noah and Jess's place the end of August.
Nice. And which class are you doing there?
So I'm experimenting with something new.
Okay.
And there's kinks to work out. For right now, my primary focus is teaching Fight to Live full contact gunfighting as a 2-day class.
Mm-hmm.
I have 1 day and half day classes that we could add, like on the Friday.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard to travel to teach a half day class. If
Sure.
you're local, we'll do a half day class. We'll do a 1 day class. But for traveling classes, I want the focus to be this Fight to Live full contact gunfighting. And what I would love to see happen is that idea that I talked about at the beginning about developing good training partners. So I come to Florida, and with the assumption that most of the people there are in the region, and that maybe they'll make a plan to get together and practice once or twice a month. Start a little study group. So then when I come back, the calendar may say it's the same class, but it's always been the bodies in the class drive the lesson plan.
Right. You're not married to the bullet pointed curriculum.
No, if you've taken this class 4 times, the skeleton is the same, but things change, evolve, grow, or maybe this was applicable to this body of students, but not applicable to this body of students. It changes, grows, and evolves. What I want to do is manage that in such a way that I can come back, like I'll be in Brookville in August. Maybe we'll figure out sometime in the winter. That'd be great to come back down to Florida to do the next one. And we'll cover some of the same stuff and new stuff and changes to things and adjustments to what you guys have been practicing since I was there last. I want it to be that you sign up, you come back, you get new things, you get sharpened on things you thought you already knew, which is very important, but also an environment where new people can step in and not be behind.
Yes. Awesome.
That's my goal.
Yeah. Especially when someone's able to like, hey man, I took this. I want to take it again.
And they want to bring a buddy with them.
Yeah.
Right. They can both come. And it's a slightly different class than the last one they were in, because listen, this is the hard thing to hammer into people. These skills, one, they're perishable. Like I said at the beginning of this, you're not going to come do a 2-day class and leave having it. You got to work on it. But what happens is maybe even the people who do that, they go take a class and then they occasionally get together with some buddies and work the drills, but they never go back to that class again. So they never get to go back to the coach and say, and show, here's what I've been working on. What's right? What's wrong? What can stay the same? What should I improve? What should I throw away? Any of that. So I want to create an environment that's constantly building people better and better and better and better and better. Not more and more and more and more and more, but more solid on what we have.
Right.
That's my goal.
And
my job is not to give you a bucket of stuff each time I see you, that then you go home and dump it in your 55-gallon drum. I want to give you a bucket of stuff, and every time I see you, we sharpen, polish what's in that bucket and add a few new things. That's what I want.
Yeah.
That makes us better.
And are you open to, if like you're going to PA or you're coming to Florida and you got a student who signed up and they want to do some one-on-one training the day before or the day after?
Yeah, I'm sure
people hit you up for that.
Yeah, we can do that.
And message you through Facebook, or how would you like them to contact?
Facebook message is fine.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that works well. Yeah, I'm game for that. I can tell you what works the best in that environment, so much so that like I would charge the same price for that for one person or two. And it's so much better when it's two people splitting a private lesson.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because I can watch. I mean, yeah, I can participate, but I miss things when I participate. But when I watch them and another person, everybody gets better.
Right.
Yeah. And I charge the same for one or two people to encourage them to bring somebody with them. And in the absence of that, we'll even throw it out to see if somebody wants to split a private with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm game for that.
Cool. And then here, I'm gonna put it on screen right now and just kind of talk about Aaron. Is he's been reworking his website to get that back up. And so if you don't see a website in next week, you need to harass him.
Listen, what's there now works. The web, not the Facebook page, the actual website.
Yep.
What's there now works. It works to allow you to see what classes are on the schedule. There's currently 3 full contact gunfighting classes on the schedule. You can read the info on them and you can sign up for them.
Okay. So I posted the Facebook links in the description.
Okay, great.
So, and Aaron, I would advise you put the sign up link up here too, so it's easier for them to.
Oh, not
to read all that. I'm just gonna sign up right now and get my, because guys, there's a few open slots left. Where if you sign up for the class right now, you actually save money. Where if you wait, you're not gonna save money because those slots will have been taken. So
let me say something about that too.
$50.
Let me tell you something I've realized. A $50 discount could be the difference in taking the class or not. I get that. $50 is $50. But I know that because somebody said this to me recently. They said, I want to hold off until all the spots are gone before I sign up, so you get the full amount. And I'm like, I put that up there for a reason. I want to encourage people to sign up early twofold. I want there to be a benefit to signing up early, so they save a little money. But also, I don't count. You telling me you're going to sign up doesn't count.
No,
you're not signed up until I get a notification from Stripe saying this person paid for their class.
Right.
That's when I count you. And I set it at 5 because I'll drive to Florida, so that confirms to me that a class is made.
Yeah.
Now, so don't hold back because you want me to get the extra cash. Just please go ahead and sign up.
So now when you go on here, and I would tell you, put the link up here too, but right down here at the bottom, you click on that and then it'll bring you here to sign up. You just click book right there. Okay.
Yeah.
And there's a few slots open that are $50 off. So take advantage of that while you can.
I can also say, if you're not a Facebook fan, you can go to performanceedgetraining.com. And I now have it. It's on the front page. When you go to performanceedgetraining.com, you see the sign up links for everything.
See, I wish I had just asked you at the beginning. No, actually, I'm gonna blame you. You should have told me.
I told you yesterday. I told you yesterday.
Yeah, but I was sick, so
Okay.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, I told you
fire
this
on all
yesterday
cylinders.
because I was excited that you and Gary Marr have both, in a wonderful way, like pressured me to get things straightened out. And while the website needs a complete 100% total overhaul, like not an overhaul, a redo, like burn it to the ground and rebuild it, which I'm going to do. But I've started just cleaning it up, like deleting old stuff from pages. There's a lot of dead pages now,
Yeah,
but you can go to the page, you can see what classes are available, and you can sign up.
that's Performance Edge Training.
Training.com.
Yeah, okay, I got it now. I'll screen share that. I think this is that one. Okay.
Look at that.
Yeah,
Look at that old logo.
Hell yeah. Wait, so you're not gonna use the gorilla logo anymore? Or
Probably not.
I like that one. In fact, I remember when I first saw it, I was upset that you had it because I wanted to use a gorilla
So
for stuff.
the gorilla is an
gorilla gear.
one. That gorilla is a friend of mine. We sent a picture of one of my students to a graphic artist, and he drew the gorilla. But it is inspired by the logo of someone that I wanted to pay homage to, and I still respect greatly, which is this Matt Thornton and the Straight Blast Gym. And I really respect what they do. They had a massive impact on what I do, but I've evolved a lot in what I offer. And that was a great logo when I was running a full-time MMA. Because if you notice, he's got an MMA gloves in the logo and all that. And I don't run a full-time MMA gym anymore. I probably never will again. So I just thought it was a time. It was time to change things up.
Slaps and nunchucks.
Yeah. I do like saps, man. I probably if I was going to have my preference of a Friday evening class before I taught a 2-day class, it would almost always be saps because I love teaching people to fight with saps.
They're cool, man.
Yeah.
Now, is there a difference between a blackjack and a sap?
Subtle. To the person getting hit, not so much. Yeah, let's think of a sap as flat. Lead shot, sometimes a piece of spring steel, but it's flat. Think of like a blackjack is more like a short, still leather, still spring loaded, still lead shot, but cylindrical like a club.
And you're going to bring some of those down to Florida, right?
I'll at least bring some saps with me.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Very cool. And then final thing I want to talk about before we end it is the Combat Arts Summit.
Yeah, that was great, by the way.
I'm working on a new date. I gotta pitch it. Make sure I got people that can make it. But was that kind of like the first like training besides the little mini class that you have done
No.
since starting security? Or?
No. I taught a class a couple of years ago for James Miller in Oklahoma. I taught this class that we're going to be teaching in Florida. That was great. If you don't know James Miller, he's an awesome dude.
Great dude.
He's out of Oklahoma, and he hosted me out there. We had I don't remember. We had maybe 18 students in the class. It was a good time. He's a great host. Class went well. I've done that. I have taught this class locally once or twice. And I've taught a bunch of SAP class. I love teaching SAP workshops. I've taught a bunch of SAP workshops. I teach a 1-day unarmed response to an active shooter. I've taught a few of those. Probably tomorrow, I'm going to put a SAP class and an unarmed response to an active shooter class on the schedule for here in Lexington.
Now, I like the idea of taking the unarmed response to an active shooter class as a dude who religiously carries guns.
Yep.
For a dude like me taking that class, what are the big things I would get out of it? Because I got some ideas.
I got you. I got the answer to that. Because just because I have a gun on me doesn't mean I'm in a situation where I can take that shot.
Mm-hmm.
And having some understanding, if we don't train a thing, we have no option for that thing.
Right.
So if you come running up, all these good, friendly, untrained, good-hearted, know-nothing people are trying their best to stop this dude and hold this dude down when you come running up with your Blastmaster 3000. But there's 15 good, ignorant dudes. I mean, that with compassion, wrestling with this guy, you can't shoot him.
Mhm.
What do you do? So we talk a lot
Yeah.
about that in class.
Oh man, that sounds like a great one.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone sign up for the
I'll get that on the schedule probably tomorrow.
Yeah. Sign up for full contact gunfighting, and then
Yeah,
immediately
first.
tell them to stay and teach that too, because I want to take that.
Oh.
And I'm trying to win them over to spend more time with my amazing cooking. But that would be easier to win them over.
I will tell you what would make a lot of sense to me would be me to leave Florida in April with that next date set, and we plan that for that next date.
Yeah, that would work good.
Yeah.
Maybe in North Florida for the next date. We're looking at moving into a different place.
Okay. I just want to. I was 2 weekends ago when I was at Noah and Jess's place in Brookville. When I left there on Monday morning, it was a negative 14 degrees with a negative 23 wind chill. That's cold. And I'm so thankful that we were training inside. But I'm just excited to come down to Florida. And I'm sure in April in Florida it won't be hot, but it'll be a lot warmer than negative 14.
Yeah.
And then if I come back down to North Florida, by the way, North Florida is a closer drive, but it'll still, even if we do it in December, it's not going to be miserably cold.
Yeah, some of the properties I'm looking at, we might end up near Jay, actually.
Okay.
Where he's living.
In the intercostal space.
Cool. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna hit comments now. So if y'all got any questions, so if I don't know what you see, but if you see, it's like next to the people one, there's like a little chat box thingy, and if you click that, you should be able to see comments. But if y'all got any questions for Aaron, go ahead, type them now.
Oh, that's cool. So I have a question about those comments.
Yeah.
Do those where did those come from? YouTube?
It'll show like you got the picture of the dude, the profile picture, and then it has a little symbol of where it came from. So most of these are YouTube from what I'm seeing.
So if someone had commented on Facebook, that would show up here as well?
Yes.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah. That's why we went to Restream, and so you could just do it, put it on everything. The only pain in the ass one is Instagram. There's a whole process to it. I think I did it once, but it's way more annoying to get on Instagram. Instagram hates me anyways, so I just try to radicalize people with Instagram.
Here's what I think is funny. You told me in our prep before this that you didn't welcome people to the chat room unless they hit you with "Who is this?" Yeah. So I'm guessing that's one of your regulars that's shouting.
Yeah, that's Casey.
I love that.
You should be seeing him in class.
I think
he and that dude too. I'll give him a shout out. He had like one of the best performances. Like same thing where you remember like failure points. I was role playing for him when he took the fight, and you know he had some things where he's like, I learned a thing, right? But when he did the Force on Force in North Carolina with Prepared Patriot, everyone was blown the fuck away at how good he did. So he's one of my really, really good friends.
Awesome.
His whole family was at my house recently for game night. So I really hope to see him. Oh, and we're planning on going to wrestling.
Oh, I've seen you post a few things about wrestling.
Oh, dude.
So I'm kind of scrolling through here, and I don't see really well, so I can't necessarily read the names. And I think some people have names I wouldn't know who they were anyways. But who's Pure Ballistics? Is that the guy you were just talking about?
Yeah, it's Casey. Casey Kemp.
Let's see.
I got hit one of these comments because I talked to Sam on the phone earlier.
Is that the cheese?
Sam? Yeah, Sam.
Okay. Sam's a great guy too.
Yeah. So I was cooking, and I didn't get to talk to you about this yet, but I made quesadillas for the family, and I've been working on different queso dips recipes and trying different stuff. So today, what I tried doing is freeze-dried cheese that we ground into a powder and we added it to it, along with creating citric acid. I think is the proper term, but just doing lime juice and adding a little bit of baking soda, it does a thing to make the cheese like not solidify as
Yes.
fast. I didn't get the chemistry quite right when I did this time, and I maybe because I used powdered cheese, but I inadvertently ended up making MRE jalapeno cheese, which I don't know if you remember that. Did you like that? Were you a fan of it?
I'm old, and we did not have jalapeno cheese. We just there was the little cheese packet, and there was the little peanut butter packet, and it was.
But you had MREs, right?
We did have MREs.
Okay, so you just didn't get the jalapeno.
They did not have
then.
jalapeno ones then.
Okay, so that was a thing I actually liked. It wasn't like
Okay.
great. Ashley loved the dinner I made. I would put it at like a 4. But
did you put it in a little bag and stick it in your waistband for an hour so it would warm up so it was easier to eat? So
I actually made that, and I gave him a call. I'm like, hey, I think you'll find this funny, and I showed him, and now he's mad that I didn't tell him we were doing the live stream, but I knew he'd be here. So.
Sam is a good guy. I'm hoping to make. I need to get back with him and figure out a time to go out to Joplin and train. I'm looking through this. I see somebody mentioned Cecil Birch and doing a class with Cecil Birch. Where was that? Oh, that was Sam. Cecil's a great guy. If you see one of Cecil Birch's classes, I love to promote other people. I promote other people better than I promote myself. But Cecil's a good dude. I've known Cecil for a very, very, very long time. We trained with a lot of the same people back in the day. I see Sonny's here, or Sonny was here.
Oh, really?
If you've not trained with Sonny, you should go train with Sonny. I have never once walked away from a conversation with Sonny that I did not feel uplifted.
Yeah, Sonny's my favorite dude to train with.
Sonny's just
changed the way I think on so many things.
For us, you brought up your summit. Getting to just spend time just hanging out. I feel like me and him were the old guys there at the summit, but just hanging out and reminiscing. And we've trained with so many of the same people across our lives. It's for whatever you might think. If you've been apprehensive about training with Sonny, put that in a box, stick it in the bottom of your closet, go do a class, and when you come home, just throw that box away. Sonny's a great guy. He has a great product.
Unless you suck. Don't go to his class if you suck.
No, if you suck,
you're a shitty person.
I disagree. If you suck and you refuse to do anything about it, don't go train with Sonny. Don't come train with me. But or Cecil. But if you suck and you want to not suck as much, come see us. Come see us.
Not saying skill wise. It'd be great if you suck skill wise to go train with anyone, especially Sonny. But I'm saying shitty people.
If there is the possibility of a shitty person coming and training with me or Sonny or you, that they might leave there 1 ounce better, that's a win. That's a win. Got any other questions?
Let's see. All right. So I gotta give the mandatory. Who is this, Casey? Who is this, Max? And I'll fill you in with the inside joke on that later. What's up, Max? It was fun fighting you with a knife. Yeah, I think there's like good footage of that too, isn't there?
I don't know.
I need every video you guys got from Aaron classes. Fucking.
By the way, I did, motivated by Gary Marr, I did shoot, and I shot quite a bit of video in PA. I've just not had a chance to go through it yet.
Okay, I'll send you a link to a Google Drive if you can upload stuff directly to there, and then I can steal it and use it to promote you.
Okay, because you're awesome. I appreciate you. What else we got?
Getting a shout out.
Hey, somebody mentioned Pat Rogers. I like that.
Oh, Josh DeWalt. Who is this?
I saw something else from Sonny I wanted to read. There's a distinct difference between sparring, free fighting, and violence. Absolutely. And I think that probably presents itself to me the most from the I'll just shoot them crowd. Because they don't know that there's a difference, and they think everything they've done so far is a fight. And it's not.
Yeah. And, not the same at all, but it just makes me think about that clip with the big dude talking to the shorter dude with the crew cut, being like, I'll kick your fucking ass, and he goes, oh, okay,
Let's
cool,
go.
I
I want
want this,
this.
let's
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah.
He's like, uh.
Yeah. That guy failed the victim selection process really fast. And thankfully his friend was there.
Right. Pretty sure Pat Rogers said something about only learning after demoralizing failures from Dylan. Did you have a comment on that? Because I saw you.
No, I just saw Pat Rogers' name, and I just like seeing cool people mentioned. Pat, all.
Did you ever get a chance to train with him?
I did not. But that I don't know that I fully agree with only after a demoralizing failure. I also think that for the wrong student, demoralizing failure doesn't lead to success. But for the right mindset, demoralizing failure can absolutely lead to growth.
Yep.
But we have to manage that. We have to manage that across each student in the class. Some students can take that and some can't.
Yeah, I'm interested in my younger daughter, seeing how she's going to handle stuff like that. Because I don't know, like she is exactly like her mom, and my wife will, man, she's a champ, but at the same time, she takes things very hard. So I'm like very interested in seeing how that's going to develop and how I have to approach things with her as she matures and gets older.
Yeah. I'm pretty honest about my failures. And I just saw a post here that's like, man, or comment here that I dropped the ball on. I'm not sure who this is because I can't read. Dylan
Mental.
I believe he sent me a private message that I never got back to about the history of tactical response. Dylan, I'll try and get something to you tomorrow, just a response to that. I'm one of those people that has a bad habit of sometimes reading a message, thinking about a response, and then failing to send that response. And that was that.
I could go through my phone and do that right
and
now.
I do. He also said that maybe those are the people that need us the most. I agree. If they're a crappy human being, my faith tells me if I can do something to help them become a better person, I want to be a part of that.
Yeah, Dylan's a good dude. Yeah, get with him. And I think I remember what he was working on. That will be cool. Josh said Andrew needs an OC class. I have my OC cert. I actually have the paper still. I will gladly host one. I just don't want to get sprayed again because that shit sucks a lot.
I could not begin to count how many times I've been pepper sprayed, both in training and in real life. And I've been shot with a lot of pepper balls, and I'm not a fan. I don't like I don't like pepper balls from a practical application. They just don't work well.
Oh, really?
No, not for me. But I don't want to be sprayed again. I've been sprayed too much. What's fun is when you've worked with the same journalist multiple events, and then like she'll look at you and go, I think I taste pepper spray. Because they've been sprayed so much on the job, they now recognize what that means, and that I'm probably about to say, we need to go. Yeah, listen, at a riot, there's one group of people that protesters and cops can both equally agree on hating, and that's journalists. Nobody likes reporters.
Carrying dual appendix was cool until Aaron said we had to use our opponent's gun. Yep. Yeah, man. Like I used to carry two guns on waistband until I had a conversation with Jerry Nuss when I did advanced fighting pistol. He was like, yeah, I used to think that was cool too. And then I was told it would get taken from me, and then he rolled with the guy and it got taken from him. And I'm like, all right.
I'm not even telling you not to carry two guns. I'm just telling you, do a lot of training with people who know how to take that gun away from you. It doesn't count if they don't know how to do that. Well, of course you succeeded in protecting your gun, but the better your partner is at making you fail, the quicker you'll learn. The quicker you will learn. Maybe I shouldn't do that.
Oh, looks like Casey signed up. Got my class for $450. I assume there's only one or two more spots left at that price.
Jump on those. jump on those. We've mentioned Florida, and we've mentioned being back in Brookville at Noah and Jess's place. I'm also in Allentown, PA, May 30 and 31.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw that on the Facebook list. I might have overlooked it.
And if you go to Performance Edge Training, it's there in the middle, but I'll be there May 30, 31st. Mike's hosting me up there, and I am the last time I taught in Allentown, I taught in a friend's backyard. Who doesn't live there anymore. He's back here in Lexington, but the neighbor's backfield caught on fire while we were having class. And it was my students that went and put out the fire before the fire department got there.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
That class was a blast. Gary Marr was in that class. Mike was in that class. It was a good time. So I'm looking forward to going back there and teaching again as well.
And I was first on scene at a car accident right at the end of my driveway with the medical bag and everything. It was one of those things where I was like, all right, I'm finally gonna get to put all this to use. Thank God I didn't, but it did feel good being ready, actually ready for it and being there. Like everything was aligned, and then thank God I didn't have to do anything.
I see you had that pulled up there. We've talked about there's a few early bird sign up spots. I made the decision to do early bird based on numbers instead of date because I wanted to encourage people to sign up sooner rather than later. But at least for now, until I go with something different, every class, all three of the classes currently on the schedule has some number of early bird slots still available. So if you're watching this and you want to hit one of those others, signing up early is always going to be a benefit.
And then we got Lewis said Andrew never answered my messages. I thought I was up to date on your messages, but text me whatever I'm missing. I know my phone has been malfunctioning because I'm full on capacity for storage, so I have to go through that. It's been screwing up when I've been trying to send stuff to people lately. So if whatever you got, text it to me right now. But make sure you always text my number. If it's sent on anything else, I'm probably not going to see it. Hercules Select, Joey, what's up, man? Although I shouldn't have done that. You were supposed to say, who is this? I don't need fighting pistol because I got my carry permit. Yeah.
Yeah. That's like a cop saying, I don't need to train. I went through the academy.
Yeah.
Hear it all the time.
All right. Nah, dude. I don't need to take your pistol class. I was a rifleman in the Marine Corps.
Yeah, there you go. Is dual cross draw appendix easier to defend, but to butt block? Oh, geez.
I need you to post a video of what you're trying to say with the butt to butt block. Because I'm not quite picturing it, but what I'm picturing is not good. All right. All right, man. You got anything else you want to leave them with?
I think that's it, man. I'm excited to come down. I'm looking forward to teaching down there. I'm looking forward to hanging out with you and your family. Out of the scope of this video, but if you did not watch the video about his wife's business that went crazy on all the social media yesterday, you should go do that. It's like 42 minutes long, but it is very, if you own a business, you want to own a business, forget about the soap that she's talking about. If you want to own a business, go watch that video. It will inspire you. It inspired me so much. I then lucked out and got to have a video chat with the two of them last night. And I am so looking forward just to spending some time with you guys and learning and getting inspired. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope some of these people can make it to the class. I look forward to seeing some more signups come rolling in. And Andrew, I greatly appreciate you making this happen, both the class and the live stream. I was talking to my workout partner at the gym the other day, who was around back in the day when I was on the road all the time teaching. And it used to be so secondhand to me that I didn't even think about it. And then getting like gear together to go to Noah and Jess's a couple weeks ago, I said, man, is it weird that there's a little bit of like anxiety about getting back on the road? And
Dude, I get that after like a couple weeks of not teaching.
so I appreciate like you, Mike, Gary Marr have really pushed to get me back out there. And I will not stop telling you how much I appreciate it.
Oh, dude, I appreciate you coming. Like, I don't have to drive to Kentucky. That's awesome.
Even though Kentucky's great, but
I'm gonna get to force you to be in front of this cool.
I look forward to shooting some video in front of that sweet backdrop. I just have the blue room.
I like it.
Yeah.
Hey, Casey asked, so what training knife do you have an Amazon store or a link? Maybe you could drop that on Facebook too.
Yeah, or that was just, I need an Amazon store. So
yeah,
I should do that.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Do you have a brand you could tell them?
I don't. I actually don't care.
Okay, just one that's not real.
One that's not real. And if it's a class that I can drive to, I usually have some with me. But
I do have a question on that. Do you recommend fixed blade or folding, or do you care
for class? For class, to be honest, there's a major component in class where I like it to be a folding trainer, because again, I like pressure, and it's one thing to draw your folder wherever it's clipped or in your pocket and open it when everything's peaceful. It's another to do that in the middle of the struggle.
Yeah.
And we need to practice that. Just like if you actually pocket carry a pistol in a pocket holster, you need a blue gun to represent that and train every imaginable combatives way you can to get that out. Or you'll quickly understand, oh, wow, that's not accessible for me. I've never trained that. So I like a folder for that practice purpose. If a fixed blade folder or practice knife's what you have, we'll make it work.
Cool.
Yeah. I like for you to have a blue gun. You should have a blue gun anyways. If you don't have a blue gun and you buy one for class, that's okay. You should have had one anyways. Have a blue gun that fits your holster. That's good.
Very cool.
And I will, I'll go look at Amazon and see what they have. And it's been on the bottom of my list for a long time to start an Amazon store. I should do that. Jaeger was actually on to me back in the day that you should have an Amazon store of everything on your gear list.
Yep.
And I should do that.
Yeah. It's handy. And
to be honest,
especially when people ask questions.
As I have thought about what needs to happen to fix the existing crappy website and then build a new one, and I've thought about what pages, I wasn't even thinking there needed to be a store, and there should be a store.
Yeah. Yeah. At least like one thing I have to add to mine is because I have products I sell.
Right.
And then certain places in Gear List, you will find links to the Amazon store. But I also need to just create a new page being like, hey, this holster is the one I use, this belt, blah, blah, blah. Buy this shit, that I don't sell.
Right.
Right. Like
that's what I need to do that as well.
Yeah.
And then when I start making soap, I could put my soap on there too.
Yeah. Hell yeah. You wanna rep the Kami cleanser soap that we used to have?
Man, I did not realize that was such a big business until yesterday. So
yeah, that's funny. Well, it's like sometimes like things like that are kind of cool. Like I just found out you were in the Army. You may have told me that a while back, but it completely like I didn't even know.
Dude, most of the time when I teach a class, my intro is, hi, I'm Aaron Little. I live in Lexington, Kentucky. I teach combatives classes. I'm an acrobat. You'll learn more about me as we go along. Tell me about you.
Right. I worked with a dude at the gun store for like a year, maybe two. And then he was like, you were in the Marine Corps? I was like, yeah. And he was like, no, you weren't.
Couldn't he tell?
I'm like, I was, So, and just like that, like, it's kind of cool, like where it's not like your whole identity, certain things like that. Or like, because like, when, Ashley does so much soap stuff, when she's not filming and editing a video, she just wants to be mom. That's all she really gives a shit about.
And this is a much different conversation, but it's been very important to me my entire life to not be defined as a thing.
Right.
If you want,
other than Christian,
I was going to say, if you want to define me as a singular thing, I'm a Christian. Beyond that, I don't want to be the martial arts guy, the knife guy, the gun guy, the circus guy. I want to be I want, when someone asks my friends about me, they have to think about what words to use, that it's not a, oh, he's a this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my thoughts.
Right on. All right, guys. Well, hey, sign up for that class. There's probably like 1 or 2 spots left
Jump on and
for that
please.
discount. And then we will see you here again, April 18th and 19th. Fight to Live / full contact gunfighting in Bellevue, Florida. If you're one of my students, you want a place to stay, hit me up.
Yeah. Hey, we should do this again.
Yeah, man.
I
Yeah,
enjoyed this, and maybe sometime we'll grab. Man, it'd be great to get Sonny on here, or somebody else on here, and just
yeah.
talk. Yep.
Yeah, I'm down for that. I'd like to come up with like a subject that we could
Sure.
talk about.
Sure.
I am planning on releasing my why we need to all do downrange drills. Why that's important. I just have to put together that video. I've got a bunch of footage I'm going to use showing the failure points when people don't do them ever.
It's not happened in a long time, but I used to love it when somebody would send me some video of downrange drills. It would come from somebody who doesn't really train at all. And they're like, have you seen this? And I'm like, you have. That's nothing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we experienced that recently where someone was like, they're doing this. You're like, oh, okay.
You just don't know.
I even had a phone call from someone, call my business line. I was talking with him for a bit. You know, he's a young guy that's just getting into this stuff. And then he mentioned, he's like, you know, I saw a Travis Haley video where the cameraman was for the firing line. And I was like, okay. And he was like, I don't like it. I'm like, well, you probably should never come to one of my classes. I was like, here, let me ask you something. The funny thing with that, and okay, I guess I'm ranting on this now. The funny thing with that, every time I ask them, like, hey, what are the firearm safety rules? When they complain about a thing like that, they don't know them.
Right.
So it's like, you know, the thing you're worried about, you don't even fundamentally understand. You know, and again, like I've been saying in all these videos, is what is the definition of the word safe?
Well, as you've heard me, as I've said to you over the past couple of weeks, the illusion of safety. The moment we hand the responsibility for keeping ourselves safe to somebody else, we are instantly less safe.
Mm-hmm.
And the more dependent I come on something or someone else keeping me safe, the less I am able to protect myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we were just talking about the other day with the cars.
If I have a mechanism in my car that breaks for me if I get too close to the vehicle in front of me, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it can lead to me counting on that, me relying on that. Well, then suddenly that piece of equipment breaks, or I jump in somebody else's car in an emergency. I am now less safe driving because I'm no longer used to having to brake myself.
And I'll say I will never buy, on purpose at least, a car that has that feature because I want to be able to drive through shit.
Yeah, I think
over shit.
I think if you have a full self-driving car, that's a function of that. But I want that to be something I can turn on and off.
Yep.
You know, and if I decide I want full self-driving and I want to use that, then I want to make a conscious thought, okay, I'm doing this now. Versus I want to be in charge of my own safety.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. All right, man. I think this was good.
Yeah, man. Thank you for joining me. And yeah, we'll set up another one. And we'll just probably pick a topic. Obviously, it's going to be along the lines of safety now.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a lot of thoughts.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, thank you for joining me. Thank you for scheduling in Florida. So
of course,
excited.
Of course. Thanks for hosting me. Thanks for, the summit kind of got this kicked off.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was you and Mike, and then just conversations with Sonny that got me fired up to hit this again. And I'm glad it's working out this way.
Well, and it's funny because you're like, yeah, you and Gary were pressuring me to get the thing done. I'm like, oh, you don't know what me pressuring people to get a thing done looks like. So I appreciate all the work you've been putting in.
I also recognize there's a balance there.
Yeah.
Because I think you can push too hard.
Yeah, I haven't been sending you pictures and being like, "This is your fault because you're not teaching people."
And don't. You don't. I'm
Yeah,
an old
well, you
man.
guys see what works.
Yeah. All
But
right.
no, man, I'm super excited. It's especially like keeping your knowledge flowing and with the students of violence, the people who are actually training and taking this shit seriously. Because like, it sucks when we see like someone who's like burnt out or whatever. And sure, you guys need breaks. I recently just had a break. I've been helping my wife with her business. But like it matters so fucking much. And it depends on the dudes teaching and the
Yeah.
students, like everyone playing their role and keeping it alive.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. I think for me, I still enjoy close protection work. I'm tired, and I get a tremendous amount of joy out of teaching people a thing and then watching them achieve the thing.
Right.
And that brings me more joy. I need more of that in my life.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Well, guys, thank you for watching. Sign up for the class. Keep fighting communism.
Yeah.
Kill all pedophiles. Teacher available on the website.